That's it. Kentucky's going to beat them.
All righty. Game time. Filling in over there.
Will this be a JIP, or you think we'll get the tip? Definitely a JIP. Okay. Gets it off to Washington. Hudson with the rebound.
Why didn't he go in there and just pound that ball?
Get in there, baby. Sail in. Bell to Granger. Well cut. Ball goes out of bounds.
Turnover. All right, 1-0. Opportunity by Washington.
Dane Fife. Okay. Guarded by Peterson. Washington to Lewis. And Fife again. Here's A.J. Guyton. Picked up by Peterson on the defensive switch. Houston with the pick. Michael Lewis again, the playmaker, and the leading assist man on the team with the miss. So two missed field goals by Indiana.
Good pass, please. All right, here we go, guys.
Here in Bloomington, Indiana, with Michigan State #5 against #14 Indiana, opening seconds of the game. Inside, Dane Fife takes it in. Listen, the third missed field goal so far for the Hoosiers of Indiana, with All-America Mateen Cleaves double dribbling at the other end. That is the second Michigan State turnover. With John Sunvold, this is Kevin Harlan. Tom Izzo is in his 5th year as the head coach of the Spartans. And today he starts Peterson, Granger, Hudson Bell, and the All-America Mateen Cleaves. Washington, Haston, Fife, Lewis, and Guyton for Indiana. Indiana coming in has lost 2 consecutive Big Ten games and 3 of 4. And Michigan State has won 4 consecutive games. Guyton gets it out to Lewis and inside to Haston, the sophomore from Tennessee. Another missed shot. Rebound by Fife, and John Sunvold, the foul called against one of the most pivotal guys on the Michigan State team, Charlie Bell.
Well, Kevin, you expected Indiana to come out with some emotion. They played poorly at Illinois in the big blowout, but they have come out. They have missed easy opportunities to start this ball game.
Bob Knight in his 29th season, 11 Big Ten titles. Still a scoreless game with about 2 minutes gone here at Assembly Hall. Fife inside to Haston. And he hits it, the former high school basketball player of the year in the state of Tennessee.
Made shots, does not let Michigan State get out and run the floor. Michigan State, you mentioned already, 2 turnovers in only 4 possessions. They do not turn it over that often.
Well, 14 times a game. Those shooting numbers so far as Hudson takes it inside and squeezes for 2.
Spartans will like that matchup. Hudson, if he can go one-on-one against Haston, he's bigger, he's stronger, he can take it to the rim.
Now Lewis outside to A.J. Guyton, the 2-time Big Ten Player of the Week this season in the conference, and he tried to twirl his way inside. And a foul called on Michigan State, and this goes against Morris Peterson, as Tom Izzo, a longtime assistant to Judd Heathcote, has taken his team to a Final Four a season ago, 2 consecutive Big Ten championships, and he's eyeing a third in a row this year.
Well, this is a ball club, Kevin, that is on a roll, and they knew coming in yesterday for practice they've got a chance to win 3 straight. They have a chance to be a #1 seed if they continue to win.
Kyle Hornsby, a sophomore, puts it down. Indiana on top by 2. Charlie Bell losing the ball out of bounds. Another Michigan State turnover.
And this is what this ball club needs at Indiana. They need this crowd into it. They need the emotion into it. And right now it's a good start.
Bobby Knight, second winningest active coach in college basketball history. 5th most wins ever in college basketball. And here's Dane Fife, who is from the state of Michigan, and feeds to Haston. And inside, A.J. Granger was fighting for it, and a whistle is blown, and a foul is called on Indiana. And inside, it's called on Lynn Washington, a senior from San Jose.
And you see the emotion on Bobby Knight's face. He was that argumentative yesterday in practice. I mean, he got on his team. He challenged them to see if they could respond. It has been a difficult stretch. They've lost 3 of 4 this Big Ten season.
And they just got blown out, John, by Illinois earlier this week.
Yeah, second half, A.J. Guyton only played a couple minutes in that ballgame.
Here comes Washington, a 2-on-1 with Fife at the other end. A collision. Granger plays the defense. No call made. Here's a 4-on-3. Cleaves to Peterson. He goes down. A whistle and a foul is assessed inside.
Well, an unbelievable no call when you take it to the rim. You expect, if there's body contact like this, expect there to be something. Down hard he goes, and Bobby Knight did not like as much contact as there was. Fife checks to see if he's okay. As you mentioned, from Michigan, Mr. Michigan basketball.
He is probably Indiana's best defender. And here comes Granger, A.J. Granger, who they put on the bench earlier in the season, but then he began to perform, and now he starts and is a huge factor in the starting 5 as Flint-born Mateen Cleaves.
Indiana in their man-to-man defense will force you sideline and force you baseline, and what that allows you to do, your teammates understand what you're trying to do on the man-to-man side. They can be weak side help.
Michigan State with a slim half-game lead in the Big Ten Conference coming into today. Purdue is right in back of them. Indiana at 8-5, and like we said, they've lost 2 consecutive games. Today, a huge game as a traveling violation is called on Morris Peterson. John, the 5th turnover by the Spartans.
And when you looked at those standings, those top 4 teams, Michigan State, Ohio State, Purdue, Illinois, all are playing exceptional basketball. The Illini may be as high as anybody in the country.
That's the turnover story, and here comes Lewis. A.J. Guyton, who played on the Goodwill team 2 summers ago in New York, sets up and hits a jump shot. He's coming off, John, a career-low 3-point game.
And his release of the basketball, as good as any in the country. If they can find him some openings, the screening has to be good because Michigan State will focus their defense on A.J.
Hudson with the charge, wipe the basket away.
6 turnovers already. Michigan State out of sync, need a timeout.
Assembly Hall is rocking as 14th-ranked Indiana leads Michigan State by 4. times in 9 of the last 10 meetings.
Does not happen often, and I think this year Bob Knight's going to get a few votes for Coach of the Year. This talent, when you look at this team play, it will not overwhelm you when you watch them. What they do well, though, offensively, they are efficient. Defensively, they're sound. They do the things Bobby Knight's always done.
And defense, Knight has said this season has been the key for their success.
You know, preseason, there were a lot of so-called experts that thought this was an NIT team. And all of a sudden, they got off to the hot start. Now they've struggled. They've got to get back to where they were playing a couple weeks ago.
Washington with the miss. Rebound by Granger. And here comes Mateen Cleaves the other way. 5 early turnovers. Richardson is in, the freshman from Saginaw now for Michigan State. And it's saved. And Aloysius Anaganye comes in too for Michigan State. As Cleaves feeds outside and Peterson rumbles down the baseline. Haston is there and Haston draws the foul.
Haston thought he had position. Mo Pete, take it to him.
That is the second foul on Haston, who Bobby Knight thinks can be crucial for this team as they move through the Big Ten tournament in a couple of weeks, and of course the NCAAs. Number 5, Michigan State against number 14, Indiana. 5 early Spartan turnovers. And a 6-2 Indiana lead as Morris Peterson, who has been outstanding so far this season, puts in a free throw and cuts the Indiana lead down to 3. And with Indiana, John, having lost 2 straight and 3 of 4 in the conference, today becomes a huge game for them.
It becomes huge and not easy when you're playing a team as good as Michigan State. Again, vying for their 3rd Big Ten championship, trying to get a #1 seed. Mo Peterson, one of the leading candidates, along with teammate Mateen Cleaves for Big Ten Player of the Year. They come in on a roll. They feel solid. They feel strong about their ball club and that they can win this afternoon's ball game.
Here's A.J. Guyton, everybody's All-America, driving inside.
That is tough. Good move off the dribble. You want Guyton to put it on the floor, make him create himself. He's done it already twice.
The Cleaves-Guyton matchup today is going to be a beauty.
Well, terrific. Both ends, different types of players. Cleaves' job is to get everybody involved offensively. Not going to score a lot unless needs to. Guyton has to score the basketball for his team to win.
Cleaves, the 2-time Big Ten Player of the Year, just turned it over. Another one. That is number 7 for Michigan State. To the perfect play so far of Indiana. Great pass by Guyton. Haston can't get it. Good rebound by Dane Fife. A 3 by Guyton. And saved by Jason Richardson.
Indiana right now more aggressive, Kevin, to the offensive glass. Michigan State not blocking out very well. Not yet in sync.
Granger to the freshman Richardson, driving inside and gets it for 2. He is an outstanding freshman.
Strong move. No weak side help from this Hoosier team. Everybody got out of the way. Richardson, big, physical, will take it to the rim. Tom Izzo going to his bench early to find some energy.
That's what they need, and that's what Indiana has shown so far. Here's Lewis from outside, who is a great scorer in high school. But Bobby Knight has made him into an assist man, a playmaker.
Well, 21 assists short of tying Quinn Buckner's record here, which is a big-time thing if you talk about a guy like Michael Lewis.
Turnover number 8 for Michigan State. An upset Tom Izzo. Mateen Cleaves is slow to get up as he was whacked on the near side. And now the crowd is into this game too, which is going to assist Indiana.
And this Hoosier defense, you take a look at the field goals made, the turnovers. This Hoosier defense is doing what they want to do, forcing Michigan State away from the basket. Outside the three-point line, put enough pressure, denying the passing lane.
David Thomas has now come in for Michigan State. Here goes A.J. Guyton dancing for a shot inside. Rebound by Guyton. Hudson reached in. There's a foul called on the Spartans.
Tom Izzo trying to straighten it out defensively.
David Thomas picks up the foul. Let's take a look at the Merrill Lynch keys to the game.
Well, Michigan State, the Flintstone supporting cast, and we're talking about Granger, Hudson have to have big ball games. We're all talking about Guyton touches. And I'm not making offensively, defensively, they got to put a body on him. Wear him down physically for Indiana. Offensive screening. They rely on a lot of screens to free up their shooters. Rebounding, very important for this Indiana team this afternoon.
Nice interception by Toronto-born David Thomas, who is one of the top high school players in Canada. Comes to Michigan State. Here's Charlie Bell now playing the point, which he did when Cleves was injured, which Cleves is now on the sideline. Here's the freshman Jason Richardson knocking one down, the 1999 McDonald's All-America.
Well, good help off the bench. His 4 points. You talk about Charlie Bell. Probably wasn't good enough to play point guard, but cast in that role, has done a nice job. When Cleves was out there preseason before the Big Ten, he did an outstanding job, and now he can play a number of positions.
There's a foul called on Aloysius Anaganye. And that is his first personal foul. He is alone up top as well. Just a freshman from Southfield, Michigan, but today playing with a stress fracture.
Spartans in a zone defense from the underneath out of bounds. Watch for Lewis to spot up or Guyton.
Washington drawing a double team, opening up Lewis on the side. Plenty of time to shoot. Indiana on top by 3.
See the good hand and arm action defensively.
Houston. Rebound by Thomas, his second since coming off the bench.
Well, right now, Tom Izzo's got to be pleased with his bench play.
Bell outside, and here is the shot by Richardson, the rebound by Hudson, and a fresh shot clock for Michigan State.
The best offensive rebounding team in the country, this Michigan State Spartan ball player.
And Bell knocks it down. He's somewhat the forgotten backcourt mate of Mateen Cleves.
Well, I remember a couple years ago, his freshman year, Hartford, Connecticut, first round of the NCAA, they played Eastern Michigan. Big matchup. Charlie Bell steps up, has 22 points, 9 rebounds. He can do everything for this ball club when needed, but solidly on the defensive end.
Washington with the miss. Rebound by Anaganye, and here comes Charlie Bell, the all-time leading scorer in Flint High School history. And out of bounds it goes, and what's impressive about that is the record that Bell broke was that of Glenn Rice. So you know he's a scorer. Indiana has a 1-point lead with plays like this over number 5, Michigan State.
Of the road to the final.
An hour's drive from Indianapolis. Kevin Harlan and John Sunvold, our entire CBS crew. Indiana on top of Michigan State, 11-10. Even though Michigan State has turned it over 8 times, and the Spartans take their first lead of the game on that shot by Richardson.
Well, Richardson again, the guy off the bench only averages 5 points a ball game. Played against Penn State the other night, scoreless, and no rebounds, only 8 minutes. So he has given this ball club a lift this afternoon.
Easton with the miss. Rebound by Granger. The rebounding advantage is huge right now for Michigan State. 13-4 over Indiana. And like you said earlier, John, that is the #1 rebounding team in the country, Michigan State.
Well, they will attack the glass. Offensively, they have a number of bodies that can go after it. And defensively, once they get the ball, they will push it. So what you have to do if you go from offense to defense, you have to get back in a hurry, but know where the ball is. You know the Spartans will come on top of you. Look for early shots.
There's the rebounding story. Dane Fife picks up the foul for the Hoosiers. Michigan State on top for the first time with about 11 minutes to play here in the first half from Assembly Hall. Charlie Bell from outside. The rebound pulled down by Houston.
Indiana, another ball club. They lead this conference in scoring. They will push and look for early ones. Good job by the Spartan defense. Get back, make Indiana play a half-court offensive game.
Here's A.J. Guyton from Peoria, Illinois. Off by Richardson. Richardson had a pulled muscle in his chest early in the season. Missed a handful of games, but now sees a lot of time coming off the bench.
I like what Tom Izzo has done. David Thomas at 6'7" against Guyton at 6'1". Now Thomas played the other night against Penn State. Held Crispin in the second half to only 5 points. Crispin had a pretty good first half. Thomas, good solid defender.
Ranger a 3, and a big one it is for Michigan State, now going up 15-11 on Indiana.
He may be 6'9", but he is a perimeter-type player. Spot-up shooter, outstanding from outside, about 42%. That is where he will be productive.
And he's coming off a great game of 15 points and 8 rebounds against Penn State the other night. Good player in now is Newton, the freshman from Georgia, who takes it across. Jeffrey Newton from Atlanta. As Lewis looks inside for Guyton with a beautiful reverse, and he was fouled inside by 2 State defenders.
Well, good backdoor cut. Good eye contact with Michael Lewis. Backdoor cut. Even a better finish.
Bell finds Hudson, who's back in the game. Haston draws that assignment. Hudson is from Trotwood, Ohio. There's Lewis. Bell just about had it knocked away. Shot clock is wound its way down to 10.
Hoosiers do a great job of helping and recovering.
David Thomas missing the 2-point shot. Newton is there, the freshman to grab it.
5 Spartan jerseys back in a hurry. No easy looks for this Hoosier team.
So they've turned their defensive screws a bit.
Well, they really have. And look at the crowd that Guyton will draw when he puts it on the floor. Kevin, offensively, if the screens are not set hard and solidly against a good defensive team like Michigan State, you will not find early looks. And these are
great shot outside by Michael Lewis, a 34 career percent free throw shooter. He now has 2 threes, and he puts Indiana on top by 1.
You said outside, almost outside the gym. He let that go from deep, although shot clock was winding down.
Michigan State shooting 55%. Charlie Bell inside for 2.
Good read by Bell. Took it inside. Defense jumped. They thought he was going to pass it. Charlie's ability to score the ball inside and outside, he has improved since his high school days. When you talk to him, he'd say, you know, I scored most of the time on breaks and inside baskets.
Indiana from the floor shooting 33%. And Guyton inside is coming by. He had a span, John, over the last couple games of over 30 minutes with no field goals at all.
Well, and he's been wearing down at some of the end of these ball games. Ohio State, he struggled towards the end. Obviously, the Illinois game was not a good one for any of these Hoosier players, and AJ didn't play much that second half.
Here's Hudson to Richardson, who looks back at Tom Izzo. Again, Cleves is on the bench. We don't know if he was injured in the scramble for the ball earlier in the game. We're still finding word on that. And here's Bell for 3. Big shot by Charlie Bell, the junior from Flint, Michigan.
Well, one of the Flintstones. We mentioned that the Flint players, Mateen, Mo Peterson, Charlie Bell, about 70% of their offense come from those 3. But if they have to tune it up and turn it up, they will. The Ohio State win last week, 83-72. They had 73 of the points. So those 3 can put some big numbers up.
Newton with the drive, and the foul is called on Andre Hudson, who you see right there, the leading shot blocker for Coach Tom Izzo, and a timeout is taken. Michigan State leads the Big Ten by a half game, but Indiana with their acrobatic play right here of A.J. Guyton to within 2. And our game summary, it's a 2018 lead right now for Michigan State. Turnovers have been a huge story early on, but it seems unaffected. The Spartans, the 5th-ranked team in college basketball. Charlie Bell's done a nice job in his starting role, now shifting to point with Cleves on the bench.
And A.J. Guyton off to a good start. The surprise there, Indiana struggling shooting the basketball. Only 8 of 23, 36%. Michigan State shooting the ball well, just too many turnovers.
Indiana has led by as many as 5. Michigan State enjoying their biggest lead right now. And a lob to half court caught by Luke Jimenez from Redwood Falls, Minnesota. Doesn't see a lot of time. Cleves is back in the game now for Michigan State.
Jimenez, a good spot-up shooter against his zone defense from the underneath out of bounds. See if he can find an opening. Good pass right there.
And it goes inside for 2 to Larry Richardson, a senior from Orange Park, Florida.
Solid seal-off by Richardson. Good pass from the outside by the freshman Newton.
Cleves goes crashing inside, running into the freshman Kyle Hornsby, and the foul is called.
The thing, not making the good passes yet.
John hasn't taken a shot, and a whistle and a foul blown on Michigan State. Tom Izzo is beside himself on the bench as they're going to go to it. This one is on Anaganye, who picks up his second, so quickly they'll bring in Adam Ballinger, who's a freshman from Bluffton, Indiana.
Continuing to use his bench so far, Tom Izzo, trying to find guys that can give solid minutes and make sure his team gets on the right track.
26 consecutive wins at home, 12-0 so far this season, a 6-5 record for State this year. And Ballinger quickly gobbles up the loose ball. Here comes Cleves again without a field goal try tonight, and a traveling violation called on the transfer from Duke, Mike Chappell. That is the 10th Michigan State turnover.
And Spartan fans, take a look at Chappell. Look at the turnovers already, 10. Average really 16, only about 14 in conference play. But Chappell, they are waiting for him to get his game on track. He has not shot the ball over the whole season.
Nice shot there. Good rebound by the freshman Newton. A nice rebound by the freshman Hornsby from Louisiana. Kyle Hornsby from Anacoco, Louisiana. Lewis looking inside. One of the top assist men in the Big Ten.
This Hoosier team playing with some passion right now. Just cannot get the ball to go in the basket.
Here comes Jimenez. With the shot clock winding its way down to 10. Here comes Newton down the lane. Stripped to the ball by Ballinger. Here's a 3-on-2 picked up by Peterson. Cleaves in the middle underneath the Chappelle. Whacked as it went up to the rim. And a foul is called inside on Indiana. Then they assess it on Hornsby, the freshman. Here are the Flintstones from Flint, Michigan. You're
23. Mo Peterson has 26. They can put up big numbers in a hurry.
There's Mike Chappelle at the free throw line, a kid who is from Southfield, Michigan. As A.J. Granger will check out. And Hudson is back in the game. Coming back in, Lynn Washington takes the place of freshman Jeffrey Newton. But Chappelle is at the free throw line. Went to Duke, played for a couple of years, and John was a sensational three-point shooter. Transfers to Michigan State, sat out last year. This year he can't hit a three to save his life.
Yeah, 14 straight games without double-figure points. And I mean, they're kind of waiting and for him to get the shot going, and it just hasn't been there. In practice, they're trying to get it going. And they would love this time of the year to wake up all of a sudden, the shot's in, and he could bring valuable points off the bench. You get him the Big Ten tournament play, get the NCAA play. He's a guy that can score in a hurry if it goes.
You bring a completely different dimension to that bench.
Really would. Yeah, you all of a sudden step off the bench. You got a guy that can knock in some jump shots. Added to the size and power of this team. Dangerous.
He's spinning side by Richardson, Hudson, and Ballinger had a hand on it, and Ballinger gets the ball, and here comes Cleaves the other way. Cleaves quiet so far. Not an assist, not a shot from the floor. Both is a defending two-time Big Ten Player of the Year.
Well, both of these teams make it difficult to score against each other right on cue, huh?
Mike Chappelle knocks it in from outside. That's a three, and Michigan State has their biggest lead today.
And the reaction from his teammates on the bench, maybe the loudest of anyone.
Washington with the shot. Rebound inside by Peterson. The rebounding is a huge advantage now for Michigan State. 17-8. And Cleaves puts in a three. The second one hit by the Spartans from outside.
And look at the emotion from the senior. He is the fire and the emotion of this ball club.
We've had a 13-point turnaround in the first half. Indiana led by 5. Now they trail by 8.
The difference all in shooting percentage. Michigan State 66, Indiana only 33. Have had open looks, have not converted.
We told you before this game is vital for the Hoosiers. Hornsby with the miss. Fouled on the play. Chappelle was there. And Chappelle picks up the foul. The player matchups feature lets you select any 2 players from the top 25 teams and compare them in head-to-head breakdowns. Just go to cbs.sportsline.com or America Online users. Enter keyword CBS Sportsline. And at the free throw line, Kyle Hornsby, who is a 3-time first-state high school player of the year in the state of Louisiana. As you see, mass substitutions. Hastings comes in 35 for Indiana. As Lewis goes to the bench. And Hornsby at the free throw line for the Hoosiers is a redshirt freshman missing all last year. John, as he blew a right knee.
Well, the key to this ball game, Indiana was thinking, where will their intensity be? You know, they'd come out. That has been fine. Their energy's been fine. They've played solid defense, but you're shooting 33%. And Michigan State, when they have not turned it over, they have been on fire. They are making all their open jump shots.
Cleaves, Peterson, Ballinger, A.J. Granger, and Charlie Bell, the 5 for the Spartans, as Granger twists and turns his way, finds Peterson, who is hooked it inside by Hastings. State control, shot clock down to 13. Bell thinking about 3, spinning on Washington outside. Ballinger wide open for 2. Rebound by Hornsby.
And now they will look for the push, see if they can find Guyton, who's back in the lineup.
3.5 to play in the half with Indiana trailing 28-22. A.J. Guyton with the ball. Bell is on him. Peterson is guarding Jimenez.
Bell a solid one-on-one defender. Guyton goes right by him.
Slashing to the rack, can't put it in. Rebound by Hastings.
Again, the energy's there. The intensity's there. Finally a putback by Hastings.
Now missing the 3. Hastings, who has 6 points, grabs the rebound, and here comes Guyton. Around the Hastings screen, lost the ball. Diving for it as Peterson can't get it, and Bell, an outside shot is in by A.J. Guyton. And we've got a 2-point game in Bloomington. Guyton has scored 10 points, John, the leading scorer in the Big Ten Conference.
They've got their scorer on track. See if they can continue to get him the basketball.
Cleaves to Ballinger. Good screen by Granger, and Ballinger has room to fire.
Ballinger capable of stepping away. That's why he runs a high screen and roll. When you turn the corner, he can step back, catch a ball, stand and release.
And he got the screen, which gave him the room, and here comes Jimenez. Indiana now from the floor is shooting 36%. Guyton's been red hot against Cleaves. You know it's a personal battle for him. Hornsby saves it. Shot clock at 10. The freshman feeds. Wide open is Guyton.
There's the reason they put All-American by his name.
Timeout, Michigan State. Guyton, who has been staggering the last couple games, after a glistening start today with 13 points.
And what's more difficult, when the guy averages 20 points a game, he doesn't have a lot of help. So he's the focal point of any defensive team that comes in. They're going to bump him. They're going to put 2 men on him, 3 men on him. A.J. off to a good start.
Peterson for 3. He is the #1 3-point shooter on this team. And the leading scorer for Michigan State, he's got 5.
Another guy that can quiet a crowd in a hurry. When Mo Pete gets it going on the road, everybody kind of hushes.
Haston inside, Granger defending. And Haston with an easy flip of the wrist. He is from Louisville, Tennessee, and he's got 8. The other end makes the steal, trying to save it out of bounds. Another Michigan State turnover. That is the 11th Spartan turnover. Bobby Knight's got him fired up. Indiana's down by 2.
Well, let's give intensity points right now for Indiana. The key that's keeping Michigan State in this ball game, they're shooting 60%. When they're open, they're knocking in jump shots. Right now, though, Indiana has controlled the pace and tempo. They just haven't made enough shots.
Michigan State, the #5 team in college basketball, coming in, rebounding in favor of State with a quick play inside by freshman Jeffrey Newton. They think he plays lackadaisical at times, but John, Bobby Knight has had no player play better than this kid over the last 3 games.
Well, this is a type of ability that Jeffrey Newton has. He can take it to the hole. He's a very smooth type player, but once he gets it going, this is a guy that can add points along with Guyton in the lineup, and Haston. He is their 3rd option. Once he gets comfortable in a situation, he plays and performs and gives some big numbers.
Gagne picks up his 3rd foul. Newton is coming off a career-high 17-point performance and 6 blocked shots. And out of bounds it goes off of Michigan State with 1:16 to play here in the first half, and Tom Izzo is tied in Bloomington at 33.
Talking to Tom Izzo yesterday, knew it would be a difficult matchup. They thought they got away with a win at home against Indiana. Indiana led that game most of the way. Peterson hits the shot to go into overtime, the 3-pointer.
77-71 was the final for State. Indiana playing right now with 2 freshmen, including this kid, on the floor right now. Haston, a sophomore, picks it up. Handcuffed inside, outside to Guyton. Maneuvering around Granger, leading for 2. Rebound with ferocity inside goes Guyton.
You want intensity? You want passion? So far this afternoon, the Hoosiers have it.
Something they did not show at Illinois earlier in the week, and now the final half minute of the first half.
Shot clock at 15. Looking for Guyton off some screens.
Indiana has come back from an 8-point deficit. Inside, great feed to Hornsby.
Good sleight of hand, good look off by Michael Lewis. That's why he is effective. Not your typical point guard. Doesn't do it as much off the dribble. But he can do it with his eyes, and then he put the pass right on the money.
Here comes Mateen Cleaves with just 3 points. In traffic, and he palmed the ball. It's a turnover for Michigan State, another one. And they now, John, have 12 turnovers in the first half.
Good call out top. It looked like Cleaves wanted to pass the ball. Take a look at the backdoor cut. Michael Lewis right on the money. Hornsby knows how to finish when it's an easy pass.
Indiana has lost 3 of 4. Michigan State has won 4 straight. Indiana leading after trailing by 8. Now the Hoosiers on top 35-33. They've lost 3 again, even though they lost the great players last year. Here's A.J. Guyton. He is putting on a clinic, and John Sunbolt, every chamber is filled. He's got 16, taking Indiana to halftime.
Yeah, bingo. Off the dribble, rises up, knocks one in again.
Greg Gumbel and Clark Kellogg next with the Pennzoil at the half after these messages.
Things cheap and easy.
Two times this season they lost both those games. Here's Indiana on top of Michigan State. And look at the numbers, show you that the rebounding has closed between the two just a bit, but look at the 12 turnovers from the Spartans.
Well, that's hurt the Spartans. Obviously, they're 60% field goal shooting, and when you talk about the matchups, Guyton and Cleaves, Mateen off to a slow start, 6 turnovers. A.J. Guyton off to an explosive start, and his running mate in the backcourt, Michael Lewis, has 5 assists.
Guyton has been struggling, John, over the last 2-3 games, and today he explodes for all these points in the first half. It couldn't have come at a better time. Cleaves is staggering like he has never staggered this year.
Well, maybe trying to force the issue too much, Mateen is. He's just got to play with the game, let it come to him. A.J. Guyton, a senior, back at home. They've lost 3 of 4. They know that he knows he has to have a big game.
And look at Indiana when leading at halftime. 17-1. They lead by 5, and here we go. With Charlie Bell inside, Haston got a hold of him and fouls him inside. And that's the 3rd on Haston.
Good set and good set play out of the half court, or out of the timeout, or the at halftime, excuse me. The backdoor cut, good pass right on the money, and Haston has to come weak side. Thought he had all ball.
There's Charlie Bell at the free throw line. He was the guy that took the place of Cleaves, kind of shuffling between point guard and off guard. And like you mentioned before, his ball handling was just so-so, but he worked on it hard this offseason, and he got proficient enough that Tom Izzo felt comfortable to put him there at the point.
Well, you think about the first half. Without Bell, without Mike Chappelle off the bench, who had 5 without Jason Richardson, Michigan State would have been in bigger trouble.
Game has had 6 lead changes, 3 ties. Michigan State is led by as many as 8. Guyton missing there. Rebound by Morris Peterson. And Cleaves goes flying down the side, feeds to Bell and into Hudson. Cleaves for 3. Rebound by Newton. There's a foul called on Indiana on the defensive side for the Hoosiers. Some shoving by the front. Each school's general scholarship fund tradition for over a quarter of a century. Peterson, Cleves, Bell, Hudson inside. Haston is there. Outside, Peterson with the open shot. And the freshman Newton cleans it up.
Solid block out by Newton. Michigan State knows they got to come out with a little more purpose this second half.
Michael Lewis from Jasper, Indiana gets it off to A.J. Guyton from Peoria. Only IU player to start every game this year. They've had 12 different starting lineups in their 24 games heading into today.
They've been able to isolate Guyton one-on-one from the wings. He's been very effective taking it off the dribble.
And here's a three-point try by Lewis going astray. Cleaves the other way. Bell is up ahead, streaking down the side. Hits the three, and a big one it is to tie the game at 38.
Talked about the ability to convert from the defensive end to the offensive end in a hurry. And the team Cleaves may be the best in the country at pushing the basketball. Nice hoop by Bell.
Cleaves with the steal. Here comes Bell. 2-on-1. Bell takes it up. Fouled hard on the play by Lewis, who picks up the foul for Indiana.
They'll take a look at the long miss by Lewis, and once there's a miss, look how quickly they convert. Charlie Bell, the green light to spot up and shoot it in.
Charlie Bell and Mateen Cleaves comprise the best backcourt in college basketball. Bobby Knight, a team under his tutelage, have lost 2 consecutive games, 3 of 4. Michigan State, John Sunvold coming in 4 consecutive wins. They've won 9 of 10. Here's Charlie Bell at the free throw line. And Fanning there has a chance to give Michigan State their first lead of the second half.
Hey, take a look at Charlie Bell's numbers. He scores when he has to. He's kind of the third spoke in the wheel. And when he has to perform big numbers, Charlie Bell gives them to him. Solid defender, solid rebounder. Good with the basketball on the handle. Can shoot it from outside. Very valuable piece of this ball club.
Good defensively, too.
Oh, terrific. Got a tough matchup this afternoon, though. He's been on Guyton quite a bit.
And there's the aforementioned Bell on Guyton. Inside to Jeffrey Newton. Picked up by Hudson. Lewis finds Dane Fife from Clarkston, Michigan. Shot clock at 9. Haston again. Rebound pulled down by one of the best rebounding guards in the Big Ten, Bell. At the other end, Peterson with the charge, wipe it away.
How about the hustle by Kirk Haston? 6'10", misses it on one end, but defensively gets back, gets in position.
That's the second on Peterson.
Well, great hustle. In this pass, Cleaves led Peterson probably too much, which made him catch it on the roll, go to the rim. If Mateen Cleaves throws it back and even with Peterson, he could catch it, has a wide open jump shot.
Good point. Here comes Indiana. 8-5 in the Big Ten so far this season. The Spartans are 11-2. It's Guyton who had 16 in the first half, but is scoreless so far here in the second. It's Bell to Cleaves, and driving inside on Newton, counted for 2 in the foul, and suddenly Cleaves has come alive, and Michigan State leads by 3.
Textbook on how to use your body to shield the defender. Mateen Cleaves only 6'2", and take a look as he goes into the bigger Newton's body, shields the basketball softly off the rim. Newton had no play.
Cleaves comes out of Flint as the number 2 rated high school guard in the country. And John, he was a great high school quarterback and could have gotten scholarships to play at Big Ten programs as a football quarterback.
Hey, take a look at his body. Big, strong, 6'2", 205 pounds. Not much body fat on that young man. A great leader, a great floor leader. Very vocal with his teammates. If someone gets hot on the offensive end defensively, he'll want to guard him. He doesn't care what the size matchup is.
9-0 Michigan State run. They've led by as many as 8. Indiana has led by as many as 5. Jimenez is back in, the kid from Redwood Falls, Minnesota.
And Indiana so far scoreless in this second half. Good shooter.
Jimenez with the miss. Good rebound again by Bell, but he's by himself. Suffocated defensively. Cleaves for three. Rebound by Granger, tapping it to Peterson. And a fresh shot clock with which to work for Michigan State.
Boy, how quickly, again, they get it on top of you. And when you're running back defensively, it allows, if they're long rebounds, for the offensive team to usually get most of those.
Indiana's got to be careful here.
Yeah, they really do.
Foul called on Jimenez inside for Indiana. A team that has won only, as Bobby Knight will tell you, because of their great defense, which triggers their offense. Jimenez picks up the foul right there, and a frustrated Bobby Knight on the sideline. A guy who was very animated in practice yesterday.
And Indiana has had games where they've had a struggle of scoring the ball. The first half of that Ohio State game, only one field goal in the first 8 minutes, dug themselves a little bit of a hole they had to come back from.
Peterson puts it in, the leading scorer, and the third leading Big Ten scorer. A sixth man last year, a timeout taken by Indiana, and why not? Indiana has not scored. Michigan State with a blistering run to start the second half, up 44-38. In State, here's Haston inside, 0 for 5 shooting second half for the Hoosiers. Now 0 of 6 in the third second half rebound by guard Charlie Bell of Michigan State.
And one shot and out, and now Michigan State is going to work.
And they're going inside.
Yeah, they are on all cylinders in the offensive end. They've hit some jump shots from the outside. That time, Mateen put it right on the money to Hudson inside, who had good low post.
Perfect time. Sunday on CBS.
Good look at Hudson, 67% free throw shooter. Solid body inside for this club.
He also is a high school quarterback. At 6'8", he carried the ball a lot. Indiana has yet to score in the second half as Michigan State enjoys their biggest lead of the game. The academic all-stars recognize one player on 8 minutes without a single field goal or point from Indiana.
Big possession for this Hoosier team, Kevin. From a confidence standpoint on the players and from an involvement standpoint from these fans.
Suffocating defense by Michigan State, and here they come, forcing another IU turnover. Cleaves to the freshman Richardson, who travels on the perimeter and turns it over. That's turnover number 14 for the Spartans.
And I go back to the point guard play of Mateen Cleaves. He's got to be better at recognizing when to give it and when not to. Now take a look at the defense. Guyton goes to the lane. You see 5 jerseys surrounding him. Anytime you play against a good, solid man-to-man defensive team like both these clubs, when you penetrate, you understand there's going to be help side defense. You'll have to find open teammates, and teammates have to find openings so you can see them.
Here's Guyton. Scoreless so far. Had a ton in that first half. Tries a three here, and Indiana still without any second half points. Morris Peterson racing with Washington to the other end of the floor, and Cleaves will set it up.
And good recognition by Peterson. Didn't have numbers 1-on-2, pulled it back out.
Great shooting in the second half by Michigan State. Peterson to Richardson, who was great early on for the Spartans.
This Spartan team has been pretty good all afternoon, shooting 59% from the field. Indiana obviously scoreless in this half so far.
And Gagne set a nice screen for Peterson. A long rebound. Cleaves retrieves it inside, outside. Peterson for three. Off the hands of Washington. Picked up by Guyton, but no one's with him, so he's going against Cleaves inside.
AJ got bumped, coming off a little limp. Might have got his knee over there by the camera or a chair. Good one-on-one move by A.J. Guyton. He's going to go right at Mateen Cleaves, both about the same height. Mateen tried for the swipe, and Guyton's got a little limp. Like he banged knees down low somewhere.
18 today. Guyton is the 5th all-time leading scorer in Indiana basketball history, and that says something. Right ahead of him is Mike Woodson, who is a pretty good offensive player. But the one thing Woodson did that Bobby Knight has said that Guyton has to work on more is Woodson played defense, and Knight wants to see more defense from Guyton.
Well, when you play for Bobby Knight, you're going to play defense. And A.J. Guyton, the senior leader. See if we can see. He goes to the basket. Tell if he knocks knees with Cleaves, which might have been it. Right when he landed, he kind of grabbed the knee. He has gone over. Trainer Tim Garl, longtime trainer for Bobby Knight, checking him out right there.
They bring in Michael Lewis, and so here comes Charlie Bell, Indiana. A half-game lead in the Big Ten Conference. A.J. Granger inside in a straight jacket. Lost the ball, picked up nicely. It's Hornsby at the other end, the freshman from Louisiana.
Starts with defense, transition to offense. A good active hands by Jimenez, and then the lead ahead, and Hornsby takes care of the rest. Indiana with 2 layups now, Kevin, on 2 pushes, 2 turnovers, get him back closer in this game.
Told you he was a 3-time first-team all Louisiana selection. He shot 70% from the field, 70% as a high school senior. And 60% from above the arc.
They're playing any defense down there, Louis?
I don't think they did. Here comes A.J. Granger. And Gagne playing with 3 fouls, as is Haston, who guards him. Inside for Bell. Good defense by Hornsby.
Solid lockup.
The freshman Hornsby, number 32, has been spectacular, forcing a 16th Michigan State turnover.
Again, the lead pass forced Bell to go baseline, and right when he was there, cover up by Hornsby in the corner, nowhere to go.
Team Cleaves will check back in. Mo Peterson is out, so Bell and Cleaves comprise the state backcourt with Granger and Gagne and Richardson up front. You can see the turnover situation today. It was brutal in the first couple minutes. 8 Michigan State turnovers, but they kept their head above water, and like right now, they lead it 47-43. Foul away from the ball inside, and they assess it on Indiana.
When you run a motion offense, as Bobby Knight's ball club does, it's important for the guy coming off the screen to wait for the screen to come. If you continually move, a lot of times that screener is going to pick up a foul.
Cleaves missed some early time with a stress fracture, John, but since he's come back after missing those 11 games, Michigan State is 12-2.
Well, slowly but surely, Mateen's game has become better, and it took him a while. Now, when you have a stress fracture and you sit out, you're not allowed to really do anything. You can ride on a bike, you can maybe stand and shoot, but his legs weren't in it, and he had a tough time adjusting to the speed of the game, had too many turnovers at time, but he has played exceptionally well, especially the last week.
We saw A.J. Guyton get back in the game. 17 fouls already for Indiana, trailing 49-43 with 13:20 to play here in the second half from Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana. Hornsby spinning on Granger and feeding to Lewis. Cleaves knocked it away, the all-time steals leader for Michigan State. 3-on-2 into Hornsby and gets it down for 2.
Talked about strength. Mateen Cleaves draws a contact, still lays it in. Caused a turnover on the defensive end. Active hands.
Cleaves has 10 in the game. 7 have come here in the second half as Guyton is bumped by Charlie Bell, who picks up the foul for Michigan State.
Let's go back to the last defensive stands. Look at Mateen Cleaves reach around, and as he pushes it, point guard's what you do. You've got a 2-on-1. If the defense comes, you can pass it. Mateen gets deep enough to finish it himself. And again, his ability to control himself in midair.
Gagne leaves, and Hudson is back in the game with Granger and Richardson on that front line. Cleaves and Bell in the backcourt, and Haston inside. Had room to fire and puts it in.
Well, outstanding step in between the zone defense. And Haston's a guy that can catch it, as you saw, turn and shoot it in.
Guyton is out there. Hornsby, Richardson, Haston, and Jimenez for Indiana. Across the lane goes Cleaves. His running mate, Bell, with the miss. Rebound by Haston. It's a 6-point lead for Michigan State. The 5th-ranked team in the country. Indiana number 14, and a foul called as a corkscrew move by A.J. Guyton. Forced Granger to lean inside and gamble just a bit.
Well, take a look at the comparison. Tom Izzo, last 2 Big Ten titles. And since 1995, Bob Knight with no Big Ten titles, but 11 to his credit. And take a look at the winning percentage. 2 guys that get along, understand each other, like each other.
Here's Guyton at the free throw line. Yeah, I'm going to play off that because Bobby Knight has said publicly he thinks the only Big Ten coach that he has any kind of relationship with is Tom Izzo. Now remember, Izzo was under Judd Heathcote at Michigan State, and Heathcote and Knight were pretty good friends.
Right. And Tom Izzo, what a job he has done with his 2 titles and last year a Final Four run.
Big Ten championship, 2 in a row, as a matter of fact. They're trying for a third now, and that hasn't been done in a long time in the Big Ten Conference.
Last time Michigan State had won a Big Ten title, 89-90. Steve Smith leading the way for Judd.
Here's Hudson with Haston on him. Cleaves. Guyton is on him. Bell, nice screen provided down low by Ballinger, who just checks in the game with Hudson. And a foul is inside. Jimenez may have been guilty, and they call it for a second time on Jimenez.
Well, Jimenez did not get the block out from the weak side. He was matched up with Mo Peterson, giving up size, giving up athletic ability. Didn't get his body into him. Peterson went baseline. Jimenez, really the only hope he had was to push him out. Already impressive numbers this afternoon for Morris. 7 points, 9 rebounds.
Here's Peterson. And Peterson and Cleaves, of course, both from Flint, Michigan. Born 12 days apart in Flint. Grew up 8 blocks apart in Flint, Michigan. Different high schools, but the same colleges. And while this kid, Cleaves, was the more highly recruited of the two, it was Peterson and his performance while Cleaves was out, and in this, his senior season, which has brought this team again to national prominence.
Well, Peterson, maybe a little bit like Charlie Bell, has really emerged as a player slowly but surely in his 4 years in Michigan State uniform. And again, has a chance to be player of the year in the Big Ten Conference this year. Good
nice
move.
fake it was by Guyton. Oh, and he's rewarded with a beautiful fadeaway.
Well, picture perfect release of the basketball. And A.J., what he does best is once he gets it off the dribble, the last dribble is the hardest, gets him into his shot line, and then release is perfect.
Bell for 3. And Peterson calls the timeout as he's airborne. Timeout, Michigan State. What a play by Morris Peterson. Airborne in mid-flight, but called the timeout, and they give it to him. Bobby Knight doesn't like it. Michigan State on top of Knight in Indiana, 52-49.
Peterson flying, has the ability to get a hold of the basketball, call timeout. Good help by his teammates not to get injured on this play.
And Gagne caught him.
Yeah, first and foremost, you got to get a hold of the ball. Good job by the officials. And the senior, they desperately know that this game's needed to win this Big Ten title.
Michigan State get 5 3-point shots in the first half, but just 1 here in the second. They lead it 52-49 as Cleaves whittles his way inside, gets it off to Hudson.
Mateen Cleaves on the dribble, Kevin, does an outstanding job when he gets close to the defender. He gives him a little hook, a la maybe Magic Johnson a little bit, but he gives him a little hook, gets him around the defender, and then he can cause problems.
John Stockton does that well.
Yes, he does.
Did it great at Gonzaga up in Washington. Here's Jimenez finding Guyton, who in a lot of circles is the best shooting guard in the country, maybe in the top 5 if you're really going to extend it, but he's one of the best and has played well this year, leading the Big Ten in scoring. Does Guyton.
5 seconds left on the shot clock. Good steal by Cleaves again.
Ahead it goes for David Thomas, retaken by Jimenez. 17 Michigan State turnovers. Hornsby inside to Haston, working on Hudson.
Well, and Cleaves frustrated because once he made the steal, he had Thomas ahead of him, led him by too much. Kind of gave Thomas a look that he should have gotten that basketball. Michigan State had a chance, and Indiana converts it right back.
And those turnovers by Michigan State are feeding Indiana as Cleaves finds Hudson. What a battle we've seen between Haston and Hudson. And here goes Cleaves with another 3 from outside.
Some say he can't shoot, Kevin, but he only makes them when he has to. He is a big-time, big-game player.
He's got 13 in the game. 10 have come in the second half, and that's the 3-point shooting you see there with Guyton maneuvering around the Hastings screen.
And Cleaves simply covering up Guyton.
Hornsby to Hastings. Guyton again inside to Richardson, spinning on Ballinger, and a foul called. I think it was on Ballinger. CBS Sports coverage of NCAA basketball will continue after this message. Indiana coming. Kevin Harlan and John Sunbold in Bloomington, Indiana. 5th-ranked Michigan State on top of the conference by a half game, leading Purdue, and inside they go to Larry Richardson, one of the few times they found success underneath.
An outstanding pass once again by Michael Lewis, again against the zone. They've had no problem from the underneath out-of-bounds play. Once Michigan State goes zone, Indiana has scored against it.
Chappelle is back in the game. The transfer from Duke with the ball right now, picked up by Jimenez. Inside to Hudson, who tries to plow and dribbles off his knee and commits the 18th Michigan State turnover.
Well, take a look at the lockup down low and the pass by Lewis right on the money. An easy finish. Richardson knows what to do with it. Again, that was against the zone. They've had a harder time when the man-to-man defense. Michigan State has really only gone zone a few times.
Here's Hornsby feeding to Jimenez, picked up by Bell. David Thomas is on Jimenez and on Hornsby now, and driving inside is Hornsby with a foul called, and they assess this one on David Thomas from Brampton, Ontario, just outside Toronto.
Well, how about the ball game Hornsby has played?
Incredible.
A solid effort by the freshman. Talked about him earlier from Louisiana. Only averages about 9 minutes a ball game. So far this afternoon has been outstanding on both ends of the floor.
So here's Hornsby at the free throw line, the 6 points. And the Hoosiers need everything they can get down now by 4. John, a week ago this morning, Indiana had everything right. They were looking like a top 5 seed in the Big Ten tournament. Then a couple losses this week, and including one that weekend, last weekend to Ohio State. You can see why his hair is gray and his head is slumped. I mean, he's got a lot on his mind now.
Well, and the key about this Indiana ball club is I think they overachieved early, and everybody gets expectations. They lost on the road at Minnesota, kind of gave that one away. They lost at home to Ohio State. The Illinois game, they were really never in that ball game on Tuesday. So now they're trying to gain their confidence back at the end of this Big Ten season, into the Big Ten tournament, and then into NCAA play.
Hornsby deflects the ball out of bounds with 18 seconds to shoot and 8:34 to play in the game, and a 2-point Michigan State lead.
Bobby Knight will have no fault on the energy and the effort by his ball club this afternoon.
And he said defense is what our calling card will always be. Granger's been quiet today, and he gets it in to Hudson. And picked up by Hornsby, and a foul called on Charlie Bell. Hornsby is center stage and in the spotlight.
Hornsby comes from the weak side. Take a look at the top of the key. Hornsby's going to read this one. The force out, all of a sudden he steps in. Good foul by Bell because young Mr. Hornsby had an open lane to the basket. And look at the energy and the emotion that he has brought into this ball game this afternoon.
So again, he finds himself at the free throw line, a 68% free throw shooter. Bobby Knight. We talked about defense, John. They have not allowed a single opponent this year as Charlie Bell picks up his 3rd. Indiana has not allowed a single opponent to shoot better than 47%, but Tom Izzo's Michigan State team shooting 54% from the field today.
Well, thank goodness for Tom Izzo. They're shooting that well, Kevin. We talked about the 18 turnovers. Bobby Knight's ball club 2nd in the league in defensive field goal percentage at 39%. We'll take a look at the afternoon. 9 points now, 10.
We're tied at 57 after Michigan State led by 9.
And welcome Assembly Hall, folks, huh?
Wow. This place is rocking. Hudson picked up by Richardson, and a foul called on the aggressive Larry Richardson. A guy who is an okay high school player. Bobby Knight found him and watched some tape of when he played well against Vince Carter in high school. And because he shut down Carter and scored over Carter in that game, he rose in prominence. The recruiters took notice of him. And sure enough, the one-time guy who was cut from his JV team is playing big-time college basketball in Bloomington.
Well, now in his senior season, he picked up that foul. And one of the things you don't want to do, you want aggressive defense, but he gave Hudson no room at all. And all Andre had to do was put it on the floor, and they were going to blow the whistle. He did that, goes a foul, but he missed it.
Hornsby with the rebound on the Hudson miss. Indiana can take a lead with 8:15 to play.
Indiana has made this comeback with Guyton on the sideline. A team that you would not expect offensively to explode against you. This Hoosier team. Hornsby, Jimenez in there.
And Lewis with the ball now, and the shot clock at 9. Jimenez against Cleves, a great defender. Lewis has got it fired. 3 to shoot. The three-point try. Good. Indiana's on top. Peterson inside. Rebound pulled down by the freshman Hornsby.
And now they come again. Lewis has to be a valuable player on the offensive end. He knocked in the last 3. They were looking for someone to shoot. Not a big offensive team, as we mentioned. But they'll take Lewis off the ball, let him come off some screens.
Sean, you said before the game it was critical that Indiana win today.
Well, just for their confidence sake and to get them back into playing solid basketball like they had been earlier.
Incredible straitjacket defense by Michigan State. Jimenez, shot clock at 5, at 4, and feeds inside Hornsby. And the rebound by Granger. Michigan State is out rebounding Indiana almost 2-1 this afternoon.
The team Cleves now has to get his squad back together and get a good look at the basket.
Hudson is double. Granger is outside. He's been quiet, and they feed him on the block, and a whistle and a foul is called, with Richardson picking it up. And that is his second of the game.
Well, Richardson now, that's 2 fouls in the possessions. The last one didn't hurt because Hudson missed the front end of a 1-and-1. But again, your defense is solid. There's no sense making fouls. Make Michigan State beat you.
Hudson at the free throw line, the former Ohio high school basketball player of the year at 6'8". He has become a force inside. Michigan State from the free throw line today, 12 of 17, Indiana 9 of 12.
An outstanding free throw shooting team, the Spartan Ball Club, nearly 72% from the free throw line.
Hudson 73%. As Guyton comes back in for Indiana, number 25. He's had a good day scoring. Jimenez will take a seat. Bell is back in. So for Indiana, they've got the freshman Newton, Richardson, Lewis, Guyton, and Hornsby, who has stolen the second half for Indiana. And out there for the Michigan State Spartans, and Gagne, Hudson, Bell, Peterson, and Cleves. Rebound again by Hornsby.
He's everywhere. What an afternoon.
Hornsby has 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 10 points. Hornsby again with the move on Bell. Inside. Rebound by Bell. Outlet to Cleves. They got a 3-on-1. The pump fake and the drive by Cleves for 2.
Well, again, the physical power when Martinez pushing it up. He's going to make the defender take him before he gives it off, which you should do.
We're tied again now at 60.
Watch Peterson on Guyton. Good matchup.
Good screen by Richardson. That opened up the shot for Lewis. And the rebound by Gagne. And here comes Cleves using his body again. He goes careening into the standard, and a foul called with Lewis defending. John, you brought up a very good point. He's playing football on the basketball floor.
Well, the thing is, he uses his body. He is going to go right at the defender to make the defender make the play. And if the defender doesn't, then that's an opportunity to lay it in. If the defender comes to you, you make an easy pass off. Your teammate has too. But how quickly, again, they convert that missed shot into the offensive chance on the other end.
Just pulled off a seductive move right there. And you take a look at Cleves, who staggered in the first half and committed 6 turnovers. But his game has become more buttoned down here in the second half.
We talked about it earlier. 2-time Big Ten Player of the Year. Has a chance maybe to win their 3rd one in a row. Although maybe Morris Peterson of Michigan State can win the Big Ten championship. Peterson may win the award, although it may be a dual award. Tom Izzo says we wouldn't be anywhere without Mateen Cleves.
Hornsby checks out. Dane Fife will check in. And Fife, as we said before, from Clarkston, Michigan. So he feels a lot of this rivalry between Michigan State and Indiana. Big Ten first place, Michigan State holding on by a meager 2 points.
Up his game, A.J. Guyton has been solid from the start. The turnover still an issue for Michigan State, though they've been better this second half. And the rebounding margin starting to pull away.
Michigan State, John, if you include the Big Ten tournament, has won 30 of 32 Big Ten games. An incredible streak.
Well, how impressive is that? In this conference with these teams?
You're talking about Ohio State, Indiana, and some wonderful ball clubs in this conference.
And a big-time game tomorrow on CBS. Illinois at Ohio State.
And Purdue is breathing down Michigan State's back. You think they're watching this game with interest today, and here comes Michael Lewis.
Haston fortunate enough to get out of the lane. Fell down. Could have been 3-second call.
Guyton drive. Oh, what a shot by A.J. Guyton.
Charlie Bell did all he could. Guyton
ties the game at 62. Cleves has had a great second half. They put Guyton on him. The screen by Anaganye. In the corner, he finds Bell.
And notice how they try to keep Cleves or any of the dribblers to the sideline.
Michigan State shooting 54%. It's Bell in on Lewis and finds room to fire. Rebound by Anaganye and a foul called on Michigan State. Anaganye picks up his 4th foul of the game.
Got his big body down low, but extended the arms. Let's go back to A.J. Guyton simply taking over when need be and when Indiana needs a basket one-on-one against a very good, solid defender, Charlie Bell. When he jumps into him, Bell's got to give up ground or you're going to cause a foul.
And he matches his uniform number. He's got 25 today. The leading scorer in the Big Ten Conference, A.J. Guyton. And at the free throw line, Lynn Washington. High school player coming out of San Jose, California. A couple junior college years out in the San Jose area. And John is the lone junior college player on this Indiana team for Bob Knight.
Well, not unusual. Bob Knight doesn't normally have a lot of junior college players.
Hudson kept his feet at bay and does not get called for the turnover. We're tied at 62 with under 5 minutes to play. Nice pass. They got Granger spoon-feeding Hudson. Lewis squeezes the pass inside to Haston, who is fouled by A.J. Granger. Bobby Knight is a bit upset. Let's take a look now at the CBS Sports Line stat of the game, the turnover category. In the first couple minutes, Michigan State, John, had 8. They're averaging 16 a game. They're already at 20 now.
That's been the killer for Michigan State. They've shot the ball well. They've been good offensively. If you turn it over, especially against a solid team like this Indiana ball club, it's you're going to pay the price.
And for complete game stats, go to cbs.sportsline.com as you take a look at Tom Izzo, who grew up in Iron Mountain, Michigan. And his Spartans have a 1-point lead. They've won 9 of their last 10. They've won 4 consecutive games. They lead the conference by a half game over Purdue. They won the Big Ten last year. They made the Final Four. Hudson is whacked inside. Wonderful defense by the Hoosiers as they bring it the other way with Michael Lewis.
Haston's solid job on the defensive end. Gave up some ground but used his long reach and long body to block that shot.
Michigan State by 1. Guyton with the spin, strip to the ball. Here comes Peterson the other way and double team puts it in.
Mateen Cleves once again the active hands on the defensive end. Stripped Guyton. Boy, Mateen has been a force on the defensive end, actively always disrupting, and there's the quickness of the hands and the ability of Hudson to understand his teammates are running to push it out ahead. So Mo Peterson, all he has to do is catch it and lay it in. Michael Lewis made the foul, kind of wiped out in the stands, see if he's okay.
Cleves has been spectacular in the second half, and fouling out is Michael Lewis, the senior from Jasper, Indiana. He at one time led the high school ranks in the state in scoring, and that says a lot.
Well, and that's a tough blow for Indiana, and Michael Lewis had to understand he had 4 personals. Allowed Morris Peterson to lay it in. You got 3:46 left.
Let him go.
And they need him on the floor.
So Hornsby takes his place as Morris Peterson sets up again. And talking about Cleves, he leads all-time numbers in Michigan State assists and steals. game, the 5th-ranked team in college basketball. They lead by 4 right now with 3:46 to play, and we've got some other close games that they have played. All those losses, Kentucky, Wright State, and Purdue, John Sunbolt on the road.
Yeah, Kentucky, Wright State played without Mateen Cleaves, although Wright State was a big-time upset.
So here comes Indiana out there with the freshman Hornsby, Dane Fife, Washington, Haston, and A.J. Guyton, who's been a scoring machine today, and he works on Charlie Bell.
And without Michael Lewis in, someone else is going to have to run the show from the point position.
Fife again gets the screen, curls around, and misses the shot, and they could have used that.
Well, and again, Indiana is not a team that has a traditional point guard anyway. A lot of motion, a lot of movement. But they've got to find someone else, I think, besides A.J. Guyton to knock in some jump shots.
Here's Peterson. He's been that guy for Michigan State this year. Last year as a sub, he was first-team All-Big Ten. First time in conference history that had happened. Here's Granger. Back to Bell. Into Hudson. Works on Haston. And Hudson puts it in. Inside, he has thrived in the second half.
That will frustrate Bobby Knight because they know Hudson turns to the right shoulder. They talked about it all day long yesterday. And Bobby Knight wants a timeout for that reason. He told Haston, you can't get spun to the right shoulder.
Hudson has scored 10 of his 12 in this second half, and Michigan State's on top.
Michigan State has built a 6-point lead, and yesterday in practice they talked about Andre Hudson goes to the right shoulder, the right shoulder, the right shoulder. And once your players don't understand what the right shoulder is, Bobby Knight frustrated with Kirk Haston.
And you throw the water over your right shoulder, huh?
Yeah, there you go.
2:40 to play. With Dane Fife maneuvering on Peterson, chisels his way inside. Peterson knocks it away with 15 seconds on the shot clock.
Yeah, Michigan State trying to clamp it down defensively.
2 consecutive Big Ten titles for the Spartans, trying for their 3rd, leading the conference by a half game over second-place Purdue.
And if they stay on a roll, they have 2 home games after this one, Minnesota and Michigan. They have the Big Ten tournament. They're also playing for possibly a #1 seed. They get in the Midwest regional game.
Fife offered up a screen for Hornsby, and a foul called on Izzo's Michigan State team. Sunbolt in Bloomington with Dane Fife at the free throw line, a guy who has Michigan ties. He's from Clarkston. His brother and dad both played ball at the University of Michigan.
Yeah, his brother Dugan, solid player for Michigan.
All important free throws. And the second one goes up and in.
Hoosiers need a defensive stop. Expect Cleaves to control time and tempo right now for the Spartan ball club.
Here's Peterson driving on Washington, met by Hornsby. They kick it back on top with Cleaves.
Good weak side help by Hornsby.
Hudson again, and a shove is thrown, and a foul is assessed. Larry, and it continues to show why they're amongst, if not the best in college basketball.
Capture another ACC title and continue to beat everybody in that league.
Indiana trailing now. Indiana has not beaten Michigan State here in 3 years, not since 1997, January 2nd. Right now they trail by 5. They trail by as many as 9. There's a good rebound hauled down by Washington with about 2 minutes to play.
Possession. Bobby Knight didn't want timeout. A.J. Guyton signaled timeout. Bobby Knight trying to call a play.
An upset again. His Hoosiers down by 5. Michigan State on top. Indiana didn't score for the first 5 minutes of the second half. 5-point lead for Michigan State. Leaders by a half. Game over second place Purdue.
Purdue, good win the other night. Down 16 in first half against Michigan. Ann Arbor came back and won that ball game. Illinois, Ohio State. Terrific matchup tomorrow.
Washington working on Hudson, and outside it goes to Hornsby. Guyton. Good defense by Bell. Shot clock down to 7. The freshman Hornsby on Cleves, who falls. That opens up a shot, but it won't go. And a big rebound pulled down by Richardson with the Michigan State foul assessed inside on Hudson.
And Tom Izzo got exactly what he wanted on the defensive end. They covered everything up, forced a shot at the end of the shot clock. Good job by Richardson to get the offensive rebound.
Well, the defending Big Ten champion Michigan State Spartans with 3 timeouts remaining. Indiana is out of them. Possession arrow going to Michigan State, and at the free throw line will be Larry Richardson from Orange Park, Florida.
And with 1:30 left, down 5, you will probably need a timeout or 2.
Coming off their worst loss of the season to Illinois earlier this week, lasted 87-63. But they've come back and played tough today, and the feeling was that a win today was vital. It was paramount if they wanted to finish in the top 5 of the Big Ten for the upcoming Big Ten postseason in Chicago.
Well, a little bit of touch on that free throw by Richardson gets that one to fall. And the smile by Tom Izzo. The thing almost hit the top of the backboard.
He's only
he got another interesting break.
He's only a 53% free throw shooter.
I'm going to give him shooter's touch on both of them.
Now they come to their feet. Cleves is double. Now it's just Guyton. Ranger to Cleves, an open area to run, save, timeout, nope, stepped out of bounds.
Yeah,
Michigan State with the turnover.
And I thought Mateen had a layup. I thought he was going to take it in, and I thought Hudson thought he was going to take it in.
So a 3-point game with 1:15 to play, and Indiana's out of timeouts.
Watch for A.J. Guyton. And when they double him up, one of his teammates is going to find an opening and may get an open look.
Bell is on Guyton. Guyton tries to pull Indiana to within 1 as a foul is called on Charlie Bell. Bell is fouled out of the game, and you can see the anguish on the face of Coach Tom Izzo. Well, the Chevrolet most valuable players of the game, Mateen Cleves from Michigan State, A.J. Guyton from Indiana, and Chevrolet will make a contribution to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need.
Well, both leaders, both seniors, and they have showed the reasons why their ball clubs rely on them so much.
David Thomas will check in. Bell will lead with 13 points, 7 rebounds. Bobby Knight has already lost a player. That was Michael Lewis a bit earlier in this half. 1 minute exactly remains in regulation with Michigan State leading by 3.
And Thomas comes in really for his defensive purposes. Talked about his ball game the other night against Penn State. Joe Crispin outstanding the second half against that guy. Crispin didn't get many easy looks, only had 5 points that half.
And Thomas playing with the stress fracture in his foot too, the same ailment that Anaganye has and that Mateen Cleves had. And the free throw is up and in by Guyton, a very good free throw shooter, almost 80%.
And you see it, Bobby Knight bringing his players. 3 players came over because he has no timeouts, giving instructions, making sure everybody's on the same page. They can relay the information to Guyton and Richardson, who stayed out on the floor.
A.J. Guyton again, one of the top players in the Big Ten, hits another free throw, and it's a 1-point game with the 5th-ranked Spartans leading by a point. Cleves in the lane, up and down. What a play by Mateen Cleves. And Michigan State leads at 72-69. Indiana is out of timeouts. Cleves with 16 of his 19 in the second half.
And they don't need a 3 yet, but if it's available, they'll take it. Plenty of time on the shot clock and game clock.
Guyton again, he's been the answer all day. He's got 30, and we are tied at 72.
And shot clock is off. Surprised they don't go foul Hudson.
Timeout, Michigan State.
back behind it. Hard to see behind the head. Well, I actually, from our angle, I thought it was a 2 even when he released it.
But they call it for a 3, and that ties the game at 72. Guyton's got 30 points. Another timeout. Oh, it's a turnover. He did not call the timeout in time. Indiana gets it. 17 seconds to play. A 5-second violation. Granger tried to call the timeout, but it was too late.
And now the Hoosiers, they want one shot. Obviously expect Guyton to have it. Cleaves the matchup on Guyton.
Here comes Guyton and Cleaves.
And they are clearing out. Let him go to work.
Working inside for the lead. It was partially deflected. And out of bounds it goes. 1.9 seconds remain. Michigan State will inbound. They do have a timeout to call. And Tom Izzo says, no, let's just play it. And Peterson, good if it goes. And we've got overtime at Assembly Hall here in Bloomington, Indiana. And an all-important game for the Indiana Hoosiers. First place, Michigan State will take Indiana to overtime. So overtime at Assembly Hall. We're tied at 72. Game is an overtime with Indiana, and again, Indiana has not beaten Michigan State here since January of '97. There's the game reset. Michigan State has won 9 of 10 games in the Big Ten, 4 in a row, and Bobby Knight is trying to get out of a tailspin, John Sunbolt. His team has lost 3 of 4 coming into this afternoon.
Impressive comeback, though, the last 2.5 minutes of this ball game. Difficult shots hit down the stretch. Michael Lewis, their ball handler leader, fouled out with 3:45 left in the game.
What makes this game so important for Indiana is they play Purdue on Tuesday, and Purdue is right back at Michigan State. So a very difficult two-step they've got to perform with today against Michigan State, and then Indiana against Purdue on Tuesday night. It's Granger picked up by Washington. Hudson inside, plowing his way, and Cleaves for 3.
Oh, big
State
time.
on top.
He is big time. Clutch performer. Steps up. What a second half he has had.
And again, Charlie Bell is fouled out of the game for Michigan State. Dane Fife picked up by Thomas. And he is inside with a drive across the lane. And Thomas with the drive, a screen by Hudson, the rebound by Fife.
Indiana wants to spread this Spartan team out defensively. Spread them out. See if they can create some things to the hoop.
Good move by Guyton inside. That shifty fake, that seductive move, and he goes in, giving Indiana a 1-point lead.
Yeah, 2 possessions. They've spread them out well enough. They've had 2 layups point blank.
Mateen Cleaves throws it away. His 7th turnover. And the 23rd turnover for Michigan State today. On deck, number 2, Duke against St. John's. Coming up next with Jim Nance and Billy Packer out in Tobacco Road. 76-75, Indiana with 3.5 to play in overtime.
Fife, Hornsby want this offense to continue to move. Make Michigan State guard. If you have a layup, you take it. Wide open shot, yeah, but you're looking for Guyton on the move.
Guyton draws the double. Now it's just Peterson. And Guyton inside. What a shot! A paralyzing move by A.J. Guyton. 34 points. The leading scorer in the Big Ten with a spectacular day. Timeout. A.J. Guyton, coming off a season-low 3 points against Illinois a couple nights ago, has put in a career-high 34 points today.
Well, the emergence of his offensive game. Struggled at Illinois, only played a few minutes. That game was over. Bobby Knight sat him out, and A.J. has reloaded, and his gun this afternoon, he has been fabulous.
Granger, Cleaves, Jason Richardson, Hudson, and Mo Peterson out there for Michigan State. Here comes Cleaves. A lot of turnovers, but a lot of points, and a dazzling display here in the second half. Cleaves inside, shoves one up. Rebound retrieved by Richardson. Here comes Indiana, leading by 3. Now this is a big possession.
Well, and solid defensive job. They didn't get Cleaves any look at his teammates. Handle the ball, continue to move, make the defense wear down. Use the shot clock to your advantage.
Peterson is on Guyton. They got Granger there to double. Hornsby inside. Shoved by Granger was Richardson.
And Richardson developed good low post position. Hornsby put it right on the money. And those things are going to happen for teammates when you've got another guy scoring over 30 points.
Number 2 Duke against St. John's just underway. We'll go immediately to that game when this overtime is finished. 78-75. Indiana on top by 3. This free throw by Richardson. Kevin Harlan and John Sunbold with a disgruntled Bobby Knight on the sideline.
Well, you mentioned Richardson, 54% free throw shooter. He made the big 2 down the stretch. Both of them kind of hit a lot of iron and a lot of backboard, but they went in.
4-point lead. Indiana's biggest lead today has been 5, and that was back in the first half. St. John's leading Duke by 5, as you can see, as Peterson feeds to Granger for 3. Rebound fought for, claimed by Hudson, muscling his way, and a foul is called inside on Indiana.
Well, still no time for urgency, but what a rebound by Andre Hudson. Just simply stronger than the Indiana players and wanted this basketball more. Well, he just took it away from Richardson. Strong enough to get it back up almost. An attempt almost went in.
Michigan State coming into today the number 1 free throw shooting team in the Big Ten. And today 17 of 24. That is 70%. John, there is a much bigger issue here for Michigan State. They're not only trying for the Big Ten crown, but they are maneuvering for the top seed. Not much room for error either. No team with 7 losses has ever received a number 1 seed in the tournament, and Michigan State comes in 21-6.
If they could run the table and the Big Ten Conference, I think they're a number 1 seed. If they're in the Midwest region, that's a question. If regional is at Auburn Hills in Michigan, obviously Michigan State would love to be playing there.
You know Cincinnati's going to be there. You're going to see Duke in a couple minutes. They're going to be there, and so will Stanford. It's that other team now that's missing. 79-77, Indiana on top by 2 points. They've trailed most of the second half after missing every shot they took in the first 5 minutes to open up the second half of play here in Bloomington this afternoon.
Shot clock down to 10. Guyton will simply go one-on-one. Oh, what a move.
For 3. Rebound is reeled in by Larry Richardson, and hailing the rebound. A new shot clock with 1:24 to play.
The second time Richardson has come up with big offensive rebound. One at the end of regulation, and now this one in overtime.
They tag Peterson on Guyton, and Fife is guarded by Cleaves. Look at that shot clock.
10 seconds.
Guyton again on a career day of 34 points. Threw it against Cleaves. 4 seconds to shoot. The ball ricocheted off Cleaves. 4 seconds on the shot clock as Tom Izzo shows you there with his fingers. And Indiana up by 2 will inbound.
You want solid defense, not allow open looks.
And Richardson missing everything. Rebound is gobbled up by Hudson. They call it a shot clock violation. Did not hit off in time.
Didn't hit the rim. Good job by the official, Steve Wilmer.
Well, what do you look for here with under a minute to play?
Obviously, Cleaves controls everything, and if he can take it all the way he does, Tom Izzo probably wants a timeout.
First place, Michigan State trailing by 2 at Indiana with 48 seconds to play in overtime. Indiana has lost 2 in a row, 3 of 4. They haven't had a 3-game losing streak in 3 years, John, but to get back in the picture in the Big Ten, a win today was imperative.
Well, it really is, and it doesn't get easier for them. You mentioned they got Purdue in here on Tuesday, then they travel to Wisconsin, and going to Wisconsin and trying to play there is obviously worse than going to the dentist. I mean, you're gonna be in that 50 to 46 ball game, and Dick Bennett's squad is going to really tighten it down.
It's Granger. Cleaves is by him, and Cleaves will get it. Shot clock is down to 10.
Better go.
Good screen by Hudson. That knocks out Guyton. Richardson for 3, and the lead missing inside. Hudson up and down for the tie at 79.
Hudson has come up with the big rebounds and big putbacks in this overtime.
Indiana has a timeout, 1 left, and they burn it right there. They'll have the ball, 14.8 seconds to play. Buckle up, we're tied at 79. Indiana's got the ball. They're out of timeouts. And what did Coach Knight tell his team?
Trying to create mismatch for Guyton to go one-on-one, but all the teammates have to recognize if their guys helps out, step in the passing lane, see if you can get an open look and knock in the jump shot. For Tom Izzo, solid defense. Don't let A.J. Guyton beat you. Somehow double team if he goes to the hoop. Challenge all jump shots.
Indiana with Washington, Guyton, Haston, Hornsby, the freshman, and Dane Fife. And here we go. Final seconds ticking off in overtime.
Double screen down low for A.J. Guyton. Good help by Cleaves. Oh, he's got Hudson. He can take the bigger man.
For the lead. Short. Up and down. Michigan State has a timeout. Michigan State calls for final timeout. Well, after Lynn Washington scored his first 2 points of the game to give Indiana the lead with 0.5 of a second remaining, that was Bobby Knight's reaction. And this was Tom Izzo's reaction at the other end of the floor.
Well, how often have we seen a shot go up when it hits nothing? Usually the offensive player steps in somewhere and gets it in Washington. Right place, right time. Now they'll look for a home run. They only got 0.5 of a second to get it up. It's got to be quick.
The former high school quarterback Cleaves trying to throw a touchdown pass, and that's it. And Indiana has upset number 5 Michigan State.
What a win for Bobby Knight and his Hoosier team.
Indiana beats Michigan State here for the first time in 3 years. For John Sunvold, Kevin Harlan saying so long from Assembly Hall with a final score in overtime. Indiana 81, 5th-ranked Michigan State 79. Coming up next at St. John's against Duke. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports, home to the NCAA Basketball Championship.
Anybody there? I hear yes. I don't know. You know, I don't know what's going to. Who are you going to try to get? How many points did he have? Someone tell me, how many did Guyton have? 34. Bobby might kill you. Woo-wee! Yeah, we're looking. Jim? How do you want to do this? Do I send it back to the studio or? Oh, okay. Okay, go from one to the other. Guys ready? Joining me, the big win, overtime, A.J. Guyton, a career-high 34 points. Let's go back. Tough night on Tuesday for your ball club. I'm sure a good week of practice. As a team, what were your thoughts coming into this ball game?
Our thoughts was to establish our defense again. We haven't been establishing our defense the last 4 games, and therefore we've been losing the last 4 games. Coach really got on us about getting into the guards and making it tough for the guards, making them throw tough passes out to the wings, and that's what we did, and we got to win.
Let's talk about the end of this ball game. You get it to overtime, and a spectacular shot. You got it to overtime, and in overtime, without Michael Lewis, everybody came up big.
Everybody came up big, and nobody came up bigger than Kyle Hornsby. He came in, he was the X factor for us, got a lot of big rebounds, took a lot of charges, and that's what we need. And he's the MVP of this game, if you ask me.
What's it mean, really, for the psyche of your ball club, though, finally, to get a win again, but going in the last 2 games in the Big Ten tournament?
It's a confidence builder, definitely. Michigan State has one of the best point guards and probably the best player in the league on their team, and we just had to beat them in order to get our confidence up. And going into the final parts of the season, we needed that confidence booster.
Great win, great performance, and good luck the rest of the way.
Okay, thank you.
Let's get your freshman partner in here, and Kyle Hornsby. Maybe a name that not a lot of people know, but your role this afternoon, you were explosive coming off that bench.
I just tried to contribute when he gave me my chance. Chances have been short, so I tried to make the most of my chances in there, and I just tried to do the rules and not make many mistakes.
Came down to last possession. What Bobby Knight say for you guys to do?
Basically, we're trying to get the ball to AJ a lot of the time. We tried to obey our rules on defense, go through the game plan just like the way we started the game, and hopefully it would come out right. If we do that, it will.
Good ball game. Good luck the rest of the way. See you in the Big Ten tournament.
Thank you very much.
AJ, thank you. Good job. All righty.
Bring up Lewis to go finish the touch on the